Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 250,000 subscribers. So listen, subscribe, share with friends because there's a lot. And there's going to continue to be a lot of stuff to talk about over the course of, well, let's just say the next 4 years. Now, you may have seen yesterday, Syrian rebels have taken control over Damascus, and President Bashar al-Assad, it's like 4 or 5 decades of leadership. He's now out. In fact, he's fled to Russia. And I want to unpack this development for you all, especially in the context of Donald Trump, who will be, of course, our next president having to deal with issues like this. But first, I want to show you a clip of Joe Biden speaking about this topic. Play the clip.
What happened in the Middle East? After 13 years of civil war in Syria, more than half a century of brutal authoritarian rule by Bashar Assad and his father before him, rebel forces have forced Assad to resign his office and flee the country. We're not sure where he is, but there's word that he's in Moscow. At long last, the Assad regime has fallen. This regime brutalized and tortured and killed literally hundreds of thousands of innocent Syrians. The fall of the regime is a fundamental act of justice. It's a moment of historic opportunity for the long-suffering people of Syria to build a better future for their proud country. It's also a moment of risk and uncertainty. As we all turn to the question of what comes next, the United States will work with our partners and the stakeholders in Syria to help them seize an opportunity to manage the risks.
You know how crazy this is? Most people aren't even aware. The other day, yesterday, on the outskirts of the city of Damascus, a door was found. And they were like, where the hell does this thing go? Beyond it was this vast underground complex, 5 stories deep, containing the last prisoners of the Assad regime. Could you imagine this? 5 stories down. Now, this place was known as, it's called the Sednaya prison, which is locally referred to as the human slaughterhouse. It is the most notorious torture complex of the Syrian government's vast complex and network of detention centers under the Assad regime. It's unbelievable. They say that there were like 1,500 prisoners trapped underground that all needed rescuing. There was no air down there. It's truly, truly unbelievable. But I bring this up why? Because again, I said, as the new administration is going to be taking fold, it's Donald Trump who decided to nominate Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Now, I want to remind everybody that in 2017, Tulsi Gabbard actually met with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. And I want to show you an older clip of her discussing that meeting. Play the clip.
Do you think Assad is our enemy?
Assad is not the enemy of the United States because Syria does not pose a direct threat to the United States.
What would you say he is to the United States? If you cannot say that he's an adversary or an enemy, what is Assad to the U.S.? What is the word?
You can describe it however you want to describe it.
I want to know how you describe it.
My point is that whether it is Syria or any of these other countries, we need to look at how their interests are counter to or aligned with ours.
Are Assad's interests aligned with ours?
What are Assad's interests?
Assad seems interested in the slaughter primarily of his own people, in part. I mean, how does that lie?
800,000 plus gassed to death by Assad, by his regime. All for what? To ensure the retention of power. But yet, Tulsi Gabbard is incapable or unwilling, one of the two, to call him an adversary to America's ideals. Now remember that earlier this week, John Bolton, he warned of the danger of Tulsi Gabbard in relation to the current situation now existing in Syria. Play that clip.
Yeah, I think she's totally unqualified to be a DNI, and I think her positions put her beyond the outermost fringe of American politics. When she visited Assad in Syria, he was effectively a Russian-Iranian ally. And what she said about Syria not being a direct threat to the United States, that was her justification for going, it's completely false. The Syrians and their combination with Iran and Hezbollah have posed direct threats to Americans across the region. They certainly pose a direct threat to key American allies, Israel and Jordan. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the files that may be uncovered in the Syrian government, if the rebels succeed in capturing Damascus, what they show about a number of Americans.
Yeah. Well, I guess according to John Bolton, remember, former Trump national security advisor, he thinks that Syria under the Assad regime were adversaries. You know, we're not really sure right now where Syria and the United States lie. The new leader claims that he doesn't want to continue the type of regime that Assad had. In fact, that's why they ended up having this uprising in the first place. He wants the Syrian people to be able to live normal, full lives. They want to have international trade and they want to be recognized. Interesting, because here's what one of the first things that I know right now this administration, the Biden administration, is doing, and we're going to need the Trump administration if it's not finished under the Biden administration. We're going to need the Trump administration to bring the whole thing home. You may remember that there's a United States citizen who was kidnapped in Syria in 2012. His name is Austin Tice. I want to show you, for example, Biden yesterday discussing him because he needs 12 years already. Austin Tice has been a Syrian prisoner. Play the clip.
What happened to Assad now, Mr. President?
Mr. President,
what does the U.S. know about
that warrant released?
What does the U.S. know about where Austin Tice might be and if he's safe?
We believe he's alive. We think we can get him back, but we have no direct evidence of that yet. And Assad should be held accountable.
Have you directed an operation to go get him, Mr. President?
Is Assad in hospital?
Get who?
Austin Tice.
We won't want to get him out.
Yes, sir.
We have to identify where he is. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I don't think they know where he is. Now let's find out whether or not this new regime wants to cooperate, that they want to become, let's just say, this hard to say, allies with the United States and with the Middle East. Let's see what happens. For all we know, he is alive. For all we know, he was in that Sudan prison in some other area. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But let's see. Let's see what this new administration in Syria plans to do. And the first thing and the most important thing that they need to do is to return our brother, Austin Tice, back to America, back to his family. Now, I want to turn to the Ukraine, since, of course, that's another topic that's going to, of course, dominate the news. Russia, Ukraine getting money, not getting money, Russia being able to walk right through and take Ukraine and parts of it over. And of course, Putin's not going to be happy with just small pieces. He wants all of Ukraine. And after Ukraine, what happens then to Poland and so on? Well, yesterday, Trump said in an interview that Ukraine should prepare for less financial support from the United States. Already an early signal to Vladimir Putin on where this war is going. It's already an early signal to somebody that Trump was with in France at Notre Dame, Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine. Play that clip.
Should Ukraine prepare for less aid from the United States after you're sworn into office?
Yeah, probably. Sure.
Yeah, sure. This is not a sure type answer. How about no? How about the fact that for the past few years, the United States has supported Ukraine in defending itself, its democracy, from Vladimir Putin and Russia? Really? Sure, they should expect less support? Well, now on Saturday, 2 days ago, Lloyd Austin, who's the current defense secretary, he came right out and he said that the United States has committed a new assistance package for Ukraine so that they could at least delay, God forbid, the inevitable, and that's the complete takeover by Russia of Ukraine. Play this clip.
And I'm proud to announce today the commitment of a new Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative package worth nearly $1 billion.
Yeah, that's great. How long do you think that that's going to last? Certainly not long enough for Vladimir Putin to hold back, keep doing what he's doing. Why? Because it's in Putin's interest. Why are we talking this way? Why is the Trump administration talking this way? I don't have the answer to that. Now, it could just be talk, or it may not be. Could it be a negotiation strategy by Trump? Sure. Maybe he turns around and, this is the way it is. So Putin thinks that he's going to go one way, and then all of a sudden Putin gets a phone call. President of the United States is on the line. Okay, picks up. Donald, how are you? Vlad, great. Get out of Ukraine. Why? Well, we don't want to spend any more money there. But if, in fact, you continue this assault, this attack, this attempt to take over Ukraine, we're going to have to do that. And that's going to really piss me off, which is going to force us to impose all forms of sanctions on you, and maybe even commit troops to Ukraine. And if one American citizen, one American soldier dies or is injured, I'm going to hold you and all of Russia personally responsible. I don't know. Sounds like it could be a good negotiation tactic. Or then again, maybe it's not. Maybe he just has no interest in seeing Ukraine defeat Russia. If that's the case, what happens then between Israel and Hamas? Don't know. That's why it's so important who's going to fill the roles. These cabinet positions that Donald is nominating individuals who just aren't competent and they're just not up to the task. Then again, these are just hypotheticals. We're going to have to wait to see what happens. And that's why this community, that's why this Michael Cohen Show community is so important, because our voices are going to have to be heard. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.